Mechanical has the future. I don't know. I mean, I think that mechanical guns are for sure getting way better, right? I mean, they're considerably better than they ever have been. But electronic stuff's also really cheap, right? Like electronic guns, they're not really, like, you gotta think that like the ETHA versus the EMEC, I mean, it's like double the price, but it doesn't probably have to be, right? There's more to it than just the cost in pricing, right? So I think that the mechanical guns have gotten really good, but like, you know, the future is electronic, whether it's like cars or whatever it is, you know, like the future is electronic, you know, it's not mechanical, I think. So I think that the future of paintball guns will probably always continue to be electronic, just because that's what we want, right? Like I don't want the Lux to come out and they're like, it's not electric anymore. Like what? That would be weird, right? Like we want stuff to like get better. So I think that the improvements in that are gonna continue to be electronic, right? So I think that we'll continue to see those electric guns, but I don't know. But in the Pro Division, the only reason we have a cap is because the rate of fire got so crazy, right? The rate of fire was just insane. So at the time, there weren't any good mechanical guns. So it was like, well, we just got to put a cap on the rate of fire. So let's just cap it at 10 balls a second and we're good. That was the only option. But now, like if we had that crazy electronic 20 ball a second guns we're shooting problem, we might actually look into mechanical guns, right? Like you could be like, why do we shoot electronic guns in the Pro Division or whatever, right? Like, why don't we have these guys use EMECs or, you know, whatever paintball guns, you know, they could use shockers or, you know, whatever mechanical gun, but they have to use a trigger pull that's X amount of pounds or whatever. So you can't have, you know, crazy full auto like double trigger guns. You'd have to have, you know, a heavier trigger pull, so you could only shoot 8-9 balls a second. I personally like that idea. I think that making the guns mechanical in that fashion, like snap shooting and running and shooting, all gets more skilled, right? And it still has a low rate of fire. So you're adding the skill of being able to actually shoot the gun and run, but we're not having a crazy uncapped semi-auto rate of fire problem. But the real problem with that is that like I said, we're going to continue to probably see these high-end guns advance. So we're going to continue to see, you know, the CS4 or whatever is going to be electronic, right? The Lux 15 is going to be electronic because that's just how things go, you know? We're not seeing like iPhones get worse, you know, they're getting more and more crazier, you know? So we'll probably see that same thing with paintball guns. But the manufacturers, to be able to sell those things, you know, they got to have them in players' hands. They got to have pro players using them to show them off on the webcast and be like, you know, whatever, selling their products. So while I think that like maybe in the Pro Division, we technically probably could use, you know, EMECs and autocockers and whatever people were using, I don't think we should, or I don't think we will, because I want the manufacturers to be able to sell products. I want Planet Eclipse and Dye and Empire and whoever to sell as much stuff as they possibly can. And the way they can do that is, you know, using the pro teams to advertise their high-end guns.